Well, babe, welcome to episode number 2. We had a first million followers after that first episode. So I'm excited. And if you're on YouTube, you'll see that we've added video to this amazing podcast.
Thank you, Letty Weiss.
We've also added 2 microphones so I can actually mute Bailey. So Bailey, can you talk real quick?
Yeah, I can talk right now.
I think she can hear mine, so I'll turn you back up a little bit, about halfway, because
I just hope that you didn't just totally screw it up.
Oh, please. I go all in on this, babe.
So Princess bought his own microphone so that he could be better heard. Here we are.
So you could hear me. Besides the very beginning where I said you won't hear me again, that was pretty much true.
All right, so week 2. What's our topic?
Week 2, we're going to go all in on kids.
Specifically,
how we got to this point.
We ended up with a herd of kids, especially after starting with...
Shh, that's part of the story.
Hell of a road.
You just about went halfway through the story and we haven't even started.
That's fine. Okay, let's do this.
All right, so last week we introduced ourselves and that got us pretty much to the point of we're married and we want to start a family. What are you doing?
Just making sure that was going.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
All right. Anyway, so we're married from last week. We're trying to start a family.
Well, we've been married way more than a week. Let's just be clear.
Feels like 150 years of wedded bliss.
250.
Wow. Anyways, sorry. Bailey's got me off track here.
So we're like 5 months into marriage. I'm like,
No. Actually, hey, let's start earlier than this. So we go to our honeymoon. We go to Jamaica.
Time out. Let's start before that. We decide.
Time out. Let's go. I'm just joking.
We decide that we're not.
There's Champ. That cat was stuck in a roll of field tile for 17 days. King. Well, we just had to introduce him. It's got a life-saving event a month ago.
Okay. So we decide somehow random we're dating. We decide we're not going to have sex till we're married. So it gets to the wedding night and we're not like shy necessarily. I mean, you know,
yeah, we've talked, definitely not shy.
We talked about it, whatever. So it gets to the wedding night, get back to the hotel room. Oh my God. And
so I don't know if you guys know, wedding day is usually a long day. Start with pictures, you have your wedding, you have a reception, you're dancing the night away, and it's like midnight before you even realize the day's already over, right?
So we get back to the hotel room and I said, babe, like, I don't even remember our wedding ceremony. Like, can we just watch the video? Because we had somebody set up our video camera just as a backup. Can we please watch the video first? Like, I literally feel like I don't remember the day. he really had nothing to say, but yes.
What the hell do I say?
Your new husband. You got to say yes. So he watched our entire wedding video.
No, I could have said no, but then I probably would just had to go to sleep. So
right. Excuse me, I'll mute this. Our entire wedding video all the way through before I was even like thinking about having sex. That's just a side note. It's a great story. Babe, don't look so depressed over here.
So I was able to get the job done that night.
So that's about 5 months
later. No. Oh. You interrupt my story from before. So now we're getting back to the point.
What did you want to add in?
You don't have to get close because you're too loud anyways. So what I was going to say is we went to Jamaica on our honeymoon. We came back and we got married in June. And we had a 4th of July party at a friend's house. And Bailey was like, I haven't had my period. Like, I think we might be pregnant.
Okay, but let's back up this train more.
Oh my
I didn't have my first period till I was 17. I would only have one like every 5 months. It was crazy heavy. They diagnosed me with PCOS. I get put on the birth control pill. So
did they diagnose you that long ago?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
so when we got married, I got off the pill just to try and let things start to maybe normalize, which don't even get me started on the whole shit show of the pill.
So we got home and she's like, I should have had my period by now. Like if you're the normal 30-day cycle, right? And she didn't. So we're on the way to the party and we need to stop at Walmart because she wants, before we drink, she has to be responsible and know if she's pregnant.
So, also, we were freaking out because we did not want to have a baby yet, which is hilarious knowing what we ended up going through.
Right. But we're kind of freaking.
It was negative. It was a couple more weeks before it even came.
It was negative. We got drunk that night.
My cycle was just a train wreck from there on out.
Yeah.
So we officially start trying like 5 months later, is we had a feeling it was going to take a little bit of work and time.
I didn't have any feeling.
You didn't know anything.
No, I didn't know anything.
Yeah. I was already worried because I knew what PCOS meant.
I was ready to practice a lot though.
Talk to me. And so we start trying, but it's like 60, 70-day cycles. It's just a train wreck. And not too long after that, we end up at the doctor. They do some tests. They start me on Clomid because I wasn't ovulating at all. And so I did 1 month of Clomid. God bless all you women who've had to take that drug. I was a crazy person. Like, I remember being in our house and I would literally just like cry and like feel like I was like raging. Like, it was bananas. So we did like a month of that, but it took several months actually because I had to wait until I had my period to start it. It was a full mess. From there we ended up.
So we did that locally.
Yeah.
We did that locally for a while, and then we got to the point where they're like, yeah, we can't do anything more. But
we did some more meds. We did an IUI locally.
Yeah. But they got to the point where they couldn't do anymore.
Because I remember we were living in Cedar Falls and
it's like this size sample container.
They needed Matt's sample to get ready for IUI. If you don't know what IUI is, interuterine insemination, what we lovingly call
a turkey baster.
The turkey baster. So they're tracking the eggs through ultrasound to give you a shot to release the egg. The turkey baster, the goods up in the thing, might make a baby. So
the goods need to be
stay
fresh and warm.
And you have to get it to the doctor within like 25 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
So I remember him going to the bathroom at home because we lived within close enough to 25 minutes that we could do it at home. And then I would shove it in my sports bra and drive to the doctor. And I remember thinking, if I get in an accident and that airbag
that'd be funny,
explodes this stuff on my face, I'm done. Like, I am just done. Never happened. We did get pregnant. We actually lost that baby. We demanded, like, you went into like crazy overprotective husband mode, and I went into crazy researcher mode, which I feel like are two beautiful places that we land sometimes. So I researched like crazy and discovered this thing called the MTHFR gene, which for some women can cause recurring miscarriages. And we went to our doctor and we're like, hey, we want to test for this gene. And he's like, it's really expensive. It's a DNA test. Until you've had 3 or 4 miscarriages,
like
we will not submit it to your insurance.
Yeah.
They would not submit it.
Yeah, something like that.
And so Matt was like, I'm paying for it. Do it.
Great. Yeah, let's do it.
And so we did it. I did have the 1 gene mutation, which meant that I was more likely to have clots, which would lead to miscarriage. And so I needed baby aspirin to prevent that. And so that was the only baby that we lost.
Turns out they did submit it to insurance because it wasn't positive. So
that was wild.
Didn't have to actually pay for that.
That was wild. Yeah. So then
and by the way, you had great insurance at the time. So like, this stuff is expensive. I know one of your biggest concerns was like, we go through all this stuff and it doesn't happen. Then when it's like, well, then I guess we'll start paying for it. But you had amazing insurance. So that was a huge blessing too.
Yeah. So then they refer us to the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics.
Dr. Davis.
Dr. Davis. He was like our knight in shining armor. I
think we only met him like once though.
Yeah.
As random as that is. Like,
and then he developed the whole plan and handed it off to nurses and stuff. And so tonight's episode is really kind of this like kamikaze, right? We discussed this last week. It's like the all in. You have no, like, it's like the burn the boats, right? Like, you just don't have an option off the island. And so we went all in on this, and we pushed and advocated and got down to the hospital where they came up with a plan. They were going to do 3 more IUIs. And then it would be the talk of IVF, which we had started talking about. And that was just a train wreck, because if you end up with, 18 embryos and you only need 3, I think, what were the options at the time? You could donate them to science. You could trash them.
You could freeze them.
You could freeze them for life, put it in your will and make somebody else trash them, or you could give them up for adoption or whatever you call it. And we were like so unsettled, and we didn't really know like what was like the biblical way to manage it anyway. So we were really praying we wouldn't have to get to IVF. And so we did 2 rounds that didn't take. And those took months and months to get through because I wasn't having a cycle, and then you have to wait so long, and the blood test would come back and show I actually had like cysts, and I'd have to wait again. And it was really heartbreaking and awful. And all the meds I was on, I shot up to like 250 pounds, which I mean, I was skinny at our wedding, and then it crept on pretty quickly because lifestyle, PCOS, all the things. But then it really shot on.
Yeah, those medications did a wonder to you and me. I'm gonna say me too. I got to simp beat with her before we were pregnant. I was simp beating.
With the YouTube version, can you cut in a picture of us?
Oh gosh, that's asking a lot. Here, I can just pretend. It's like, that's the difference. And I wasn't flexing. I was just how it was.
Oh, bless. And so we ended up down in Iowa City, and they say to us, I will never forget this. Like, you're going to need to do all these shots. And if you don't know me, I don't do needles. Like, when I have babies, I don't even have an IV. That's how much I don't do needles.
I know what you're going to say.
And
this is a proud moment for me, honestly. Wait for it.
And so this is our, this is the plan. The doctors and nurses, they look at the plan, and they're like, okay, you're going to do these shots in your stomach, and these shots in your thighs, and all the things. And so I don't really do needles. Matt has zero medical training, nor do I. And the doctor says, so you can come into the clinic, like the clinic down there, and
which is an hour and a half away-ish.
Yeah. And the nurse can administer these injections, or your husband can do it. And Matt says, take my babe.
It's like, yeah, I can do that. I used to give hog shots.
Are you kidding me?
What?
Literally, I looked at him like, sweet baby Jesus. You literally compared me to a hog.
No, I did not compare you to a hog.
Oh, yes.
Compare the process of giving a shot. I've done it before.
Oh, yes, my friends. And so we did these bad boys at home, and I was bruised. I would cry. They hurt, especially the ones, what do they call it? Intermuscular or whatever. It was like the biggest needle. I literally was like, do not show that to me. And so we get to the very last round, and I wish I had my medical records. There was like, they did the ultrasound to see how many eggs there were inside of my body developing from the medications. And I think there was like 5 or 6.
I was thinking it was 3, but it was multiple. That's between
like 3 and 5. Yeah.
Multiple.
And I was like, oh shit, they're going to tell us we can't go on because
he's trying to pay.
Oh my gosh. Literally, there's a cat on my shoulder. Because there's no control. Once they use the turkey baster and the men are swimming, there's no control from a medical standpoint. And so I thought they were going to cancel it. I'm sure I cried. I cried a lot.
100% guarantee you cried.
And they let us go on. And so.
Well, I think, so there's an appointment before to see how many are growing, but then we had another appointment again to see, because we had more medication, I think, to take. I don't remember the whole process, but like, they're like, okay, let's say it was 5, but we're going to do these next medications. So you come back down in a week. We'll see, hopefully like one takes charge, and that's the one that's we know is going to release. So we prayed hard about it. And sure enough, when we got back down there, it was just one that had gotten bigger.
Really?
Yeah.
I do not remember that.
Yeah.
So they give you the medication to release the eggs. I think there was multiple. I don't know.
Maybe 2.
And because we're so far away from home, this is the good part of tonight's story. Matt has to give a sample in the hospital. And it's a Saturday morning. So like the place is like a ghost town because there's no regular appointments. And we're there with one other couple. We both have the same arrival time. And so they take you to the sample area, and they hand you your cup. And I say to him, well, I'm going to come in with you. Like, let's make this like a loving experience of creating our child. And he was like, oh, the hell you are.
No, this is awkward as enough as it is. I'm just going to go choke that chicken by myself.
Oh, bless.
And it's awkward too, because that other guy's there too. So it's like
they both go into the rooms at the same time. Is this a race,
or what do we have here? I don't even know.
Literally, it was a race. The wife and I sat in the waiting room, like awkwardly waiting to see who came out first. Oh my gosh, it was the most awkward experience.
I don't know who came out first to you. Is the other guy? You know what? That's fine. It can be the other guy because I made new charts. That's right.
Oh, they get the sample and they review like the sample before they like,
Well, yeah, it has to be a
insert it.
good sample, right? Like you have to
Yeah.
have good
And they've
semen to
literally, you
inject.
guys, I have dealt with this burden, this cockiness
Burden?
for
Burden?
12 years. 12 years of Matt being told by the doctors, your semen count is off the charts.
That's right. On
You
the good
can
side.
see his shoulders like puff up.
Say
Like,
that again, please.
he literally thought he was like the studliest man that ever walked the universe. And I was like, this is just great. All right. So, nurse
Lois.
Lois, the sweetest woman, she was probably 50 or 60,
Yep.
came in, put the goods in.
Prep that turkey baster.
Then I had to lay down in the car the
yeah.
whole way home. And then like hours. I remember you bringing me lunch, laying on the couch.
I do that all the time, babe.
No. And like 10 days later, test was positive. It was March.
Yep.
And we were pregnant.
Oh, that's another story about shots too. One of your best friends got married in March, and that was during the time we needed to do the shots. So we were at the event center, and I took her.
I'm at the wedding reception in my
Yeah.
bridesmaid's dress.
So we go back to the manager's office because they had no other place that was like just
whip out our cooler.
whip it out, pull it taut, just like that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so we end up pregnant with Kinley. I do some extra progesterone and things and baby aspirin and all that. And I have a beautiful, beautiful baby girl. We're ready for another one. Not ovulating still.
Yep.
And that one was just oral meds.
Yep.
And got pregnant with Lakin, which was a hoot because they did tell us he was a girl.
Oh, yeah, we got to get in that story too, right?
I feel like that's not nice. He's getting long.
People love it. Anyways, we were told at the ultrasound, the guy said 99% sure this is a girl, only God's 100% sure, which we're excited because the birthday was like 2 days away from Kinley's. The due date
and
was
we really
like 2 days away.
sisters together.
Right. So like, oh, this is perfect. We have all the same clothes, everything. So we go have the baby, and it's a boy.
And it's like 5 minutes after we have the baby.
Yeah, because like what?
In our birth plan, we're like, put the baby in your chest, leave us alone, all the things. And it was like 5 minutes. They were
so
like,
I think they actually said, so what were you having?
Yeah.
We're like, oh, little girl.
And they're like, can we check? Because they could literally see his scrotum hanging out the back of his butt when I was holding him on my chest. And sure enough, they opened the legs and like, it's actually a boy. You guys, I had painted pink flowers on the wall. I had all the pink clothes for 12 months washed and folded in his closet.
Yep. Anyways,
it's a great story.
He's our oldest boy.
Yeah. And then it was at that point that we kind of had the day that changed our life. We were watching TV and we saw a commercial and it literally said, if you were on this medication and your child was born with a heart defect, you can be a part of our lawsuit. And we had just found out that Lakin and Kinley both had heart defects.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a super surreal moment. Obviously, we didn't join the lawsuit. We didn't have that desire, but it did start us on this whole different trajectory for our life.
Remember, it was that commercial and the insurance I had at the time. Like, I don't know if the medication you were taking, they were getting rid of it, probably because of that. But then you're like, well, now what do I take? Like, I don't want to do this another one because we've heard of other side effects. So it's kind of the commercial, that all going away.
Yeah, we haven't really told the story. I have Crohn's disease.
And we just started with the essential oils, like not for that purpose. We just kind of started using them.
Yeah. Right? I have Crohn's disease. I've been on these medications since I was 17 and the doctor said they were safe for pregnancy. Turns out they really weren't. And
they're safe for pregnancy, just not for the baby.
Yeah. And then the next 3, it gets super wild because I went off of all those medications. I got on some really great probiotics and multivitamins and we really redid our home, got rid of all the toxins and things just because we were like starting to love it, not because we were like, oh, this is what's going to help us have more babies. Yep. And then the next 3 kids all were conceived on the first month
Yeah.
that
Like,
we
all right,
tried
let's have another baby. Let's start this process.
because we know it's
The
going to take
next
us a
month,
while.
well, I guess we have another baby on the way because it worked, you know?
Yeah. So 5 babies in 9 years. And that is how we went all in on the kid thing.
So pregnancy number 5, it was Bailey's toughest pregnancy. Like, she didn't feel the greatest. I think she had morning sickness. The other ones you really
I
didn't.
didn't have morning sickness. I had like crazy fatigue.
Yeah. So the other ones,
Nausea and
maybe
fatigue.
you had some of that stuff, but we were just so happy to be pregnant, right? That we didn't realize it. But this last one, it was tough on her. So we're both like, 5 kids, we're good. Like,
During the pregnancy.
yeah, like, I'm excited for this. This completes what I wanted for a family. Completes what you wanted for a family.
More
like,
than what we thought we'd have.
we're great, you know? So we go. Bailey delivers Easton. Literally an hour later, she's holding her. She's like, Matt, I want another baby.
Oh,
What?
gosh.
What? What drugs did they give you? Because you didn't have an IV or anything. So where'd you get these drugs? First off. So she was just that much in love. So we agreed at that point.
Because I kid you not, the minute she came out of me, I felt like my old self, the energy, the fun loving me. Like, I was like, game on, let's do this.
She was adorable too, right? Like, it'd be fun
But
to
I
be able to
felt
have that adorable
good.
baby all the time again. But anyways, we said.
But you were done.
Yeah, I was like, no, man. Like, we're both getting older. I'm just worried about complications from anything. Like, just we're very blessed with where we are. So we agreed, let's give it 18 months when she, or 2 years old. When she turns 2 years old, we'll talk about it. And in my head, I was thinking, this is perfect because all of our kids were about 2 years apart. And at that time, they're already potty trained. So we didn't have to take a diaper bag anywhere. Like, we were getting to the freedom stage. So I'm like, 2 years is perfect because she's going to be like, I don't want to have to deal with this again. Because then it would actually be another year of freedom before the baby would be here if we tried for another one. So she turned 2 years old and Bailey is like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Y'all,
she is a spitfire.
God gave us a spicy 5th. She is something.
She's fun, but man,
I'm done.
Man.
So now the ending of week 2 podcast. Snip, snip. We are in.
We are not all in on the nut snip.
We are in deep in the nut snip conversations in this house. Like, probably 4 times a week. I'm not even kidding. The conversation comes up. Our neighbors talk about it with us. Our friends.
Oh yeah, we're an open book down here. Our friends, they walk by. Hey, I heard you're gonna get snipped. No,
oh
thanks for talking to Bailey. I appreciate
such a thing. So Matt's not super on board. He's read a few things that for some men it can cause some autoimmune type things,
which is what Crohn's disease is. So we already know all about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to cause Crohn's.
No, I didn't say that. It's an autoimmune disease.
It can cause, obviously, what is it? Impotence? Is that the word? When you can't get it up?
I don't know. That sounds like the right word.
Has some
I don't have that issue.
He has some concerns.
I'm impatient. Is that the word? No.
I don't know where I fall. I do not want another baby. You don't want another baby even more than me.
Right. So we just gotta.
I'm not taking care of it on my end. I've done enough for this family. 5 natural births. I'm out.
I didn't ever ask you to. Let's be clear about that.
You're right.
Okay.
And so now we're using natural family planning. So far, so good, but there might be a little burn and sizzle in our future.
No.
So if you don't, people can't see you on the podcast.
They can hear it.
That was Matt beating his head against the microphone. So that's where we are. That is our all-in journey with kids. Hopefully that's the end of our journey with kids, having babies. We'll see.
Yeah. So honestly, like, we've gone through a lot with our kids in the process. And we know there are people that are out there struggling every freaking day with this same crap. If you just need anybody to talk to, reach out to Baylor. I remember going to church and it was Mother's Day, I think. And it was right after the miscarriage. You might even cry now, but like, it was Mother's Day service, right? Like, it's meant to celebrate mothers. And it was just, she wanted to be a mother so bad. And she was just bawling. And I know we've been to church service since then. And we kind of pick up on people, I feel like, who are maybe struggling with this infertility issue. And like during our church service, we'll feel something, like we can feel it because we know what that feeling was then, and we know what the feeling is now. And we'll just notice like this lady's crying on her husband's shoulder, and it's like. So, anyways, I just want to say, please talk to us if you have any questions. If you just want to talk.
I would say it was probably, that doesn't me tear up, man. It's probably the hardest thing we've ever done.
Absolutely.
And we've had some hard stuff in the last year with my Crohn's, and
Right. No, yeah, but
it was
such a
just,
desire, and there's like nothing that you feel like you can do.
and yet, like, I don't know, like, I wonder if we went through it now, how different things would be. Like, I know so much more about like I knew nothing about health at all then.
Right.
Like, I was
Absolutely.
like, give me all the meds, give me zero exercise, zero healthy food, zero stress reduction. Like, I just didn't do anything. I felt so helpless. Um, Obviously we're not going to be in that position now because we have 5 kids, but it's interesting, 15
Yeah.
years later, what we know.
15 years. Holy crap.
I know.
Man, that's a
Nut
low
punch.
note right there. I don't think I need to be sniffed. I think my nuts are gone after that.
We's getting old. All right, friends.
This is fun. I hope you enjoyed the story of our kids and how we went all in.
I'm picturing Matt choking the chicken. We's out.
Or the sizzle of the nuts. I don't know. Peace out, yo. Kamikazes out.
Kamikaze parents with my